have a couple of things to bring up. The guy in the MASK that appears to be running the USA, named Biden, so made a comment just now recently in the last few hours or whatever, and he said the words historically large. Now, I love these phrases that are being told to us because even on the news, I'll go and plunk them into Geometria. So this one is of particular interest. Everybody needs to hear this particular decode on these words. And yes, I did pick up a lot of what the announcement was last night and all of the code words, and I even heard the 2020 when it happened. And so, oh, that's the wind here, it's blowing. I'm like, what is that noise? So here we go with historically large in Geometria. Okay, my fellow Americans, love you so much. September 11th, written out. Wednesday, November, which is today. The 11th month, which is what month we're in. Trump prophecy. Never give up. And the last one that I thought was interesting and it made me laugh out loud, that I thought was funny, is I broke the Geometria code. So funny. So then let's go to Mr. Elon and his rock solid. I only wrote down one because it was the best to me, and the numbers associated with it are 888. And so when he said rock solid, it equaled divine plan. So people who last night watched and were all disappointed and butthurt because they thought something else was coming, it is happening. The biggest thing to happen is Pelosi getting fired. And that speech, if you didn't catch that little slip up with the 2020, it was about Biden's 4 years in office, and he ain't gonna last the 4 years. So it's not about it's the linear timeline that people are getting stuck in. Like, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. Think of every person who is currently not awake to the corruption, like what's going on there. So I think this was another case of where the big red wave that was supposed to be felt through the election, I think they thought it was going to be a blue fixed wave and it still ended up being red. So they're like scratching their heads. There's a lot of deltas that are coming up now in all of these things. Oh yeah, I forgot to write the other one down here that was in historically large. The 17 letter posts. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what's it going to take, like for us to get that there's more to this than meets the eye on the surface. So please don't get too wallowed in the linear timeline of your expectations right now. Do trust what is happening for the greater good of all humanity on an energetic level. These people have to go through these shifts and of consciousness, and have to realize, like, even a statement I made last night, I was like, so why would you think if the people who thought they got ripped off under the last election have faith in the system now when there's like 100 million people that voted for that guy and he's not in office? Like, even that, getting through that, like, so what are these people supposed to do? Just go out and keep continuing to participate in something they believe is not fair or just? So, and part of the announcement last night has to do with him already being the president. Like those, that's on paperwork where you can see. So the devil is in the details right now, and people aren't catching on to some of the things that have to be part of the production and part of the show. So the other thing that's interesting is with him now being a presidency candidate, his Twitter will like be have to be unlocked at some point, don't you think? So this brings about the interesting money loss that just happened through FTX, which we all know, and a lot of people are talking about it right now. And that was another thing. Well, voters don't really care about where the Dems get their money from. They do if they're the Canadian Teachers Union, the teachers' pension, Canadian teachers' pension, no more. So I implore anybody in Canada that works in a government position, whether you're in the Calgary Police or even in the RCMP or in the nurses union, obviously the teachers union, but I would be checking where your pensions were invested right now and see if you actually have any. So this is the other part of it is I know I have some teachers watching, but the teachers watching know that we're getting more than the pension that they've been slaving us to. So keep that in mind. Don't get attached energetically to that money. Think of it as this is the way they have to take away the protection of these people, like Michael Gallant, the teacher who was the principal here, I should say, that raped the 6-year-old boy. He's protected under the teachers union and the teachers association. So if they don't have any more money to launder through BC Investment Management or however that was lost, so through that corporation or through these pensions being signed away through maybe a minister of finance or something. I learned a lot of interesting things yesterday when I was investigating on the teacher's pension because it reminded me back to when we were talking a couple years ago when Norm Traversy did a really good documentary about the Picton farms, and he went in through the money, and he talked about Carol Taylor, and that's Carole Taylor, and she was the Minister of Finance back in, I don't know, I'll say 2005 or something. I'll have to look up my notes. And basically what she did was a modern day or present day in 13 years later, ripped off a whole bunch of people. So what she did, unbeknownst to a lot of people, even people who know of her, she worked for as a minister of finance, and on her last days there, she waived the high taxation for corporations and banks. And so they didn't have to pay all these high taxes like we do, and uh, and why she's important in this equation is because she had a lot to do with where the pensions and stuff went way back then. So what she did as a minister of finance, I guess, was waive this stuff for these people. And then she got a job when she left that. She went to TD Bank, the very people she gave the tax break to. Like, if that isn't, and if you let me remind you what George Soros did in 1992. He milked the system, the stock market. He short stocked it, I think, or whatever they call it. And he made $1 billion by doing that from the UK people. And then he got charged a few years later in a court of law, and he only had to pay $975 million. Like, not even, or sorry, yeah, so he, not even that. I think it was like, so he made money on that deal. But when those things go to court, who are these judges? Like, this is what I want to talk about. So there's a couple of people talking about the 450 million through the yacht club and the El Salvador Bitcoin. We all know that those are all tied to human trafficking. So I think what the majority of people are coming to the awareness is how crypto works. I don't think some of the older people who aren't in the on the internet understand that there's two different kinds. There's good and bad, and what the bad has been doing. So I'm like, well, if it was created out of thin air and it's all based on drug trafficking and money laundering and human trafficking, then to me, if that is all where that money is kind of created and then it's erased, you're kind of cutting off the head of a big snake right there for $10 billion or whatever they're on the hook for. So this is why I'm imploring a lot of people to go and do a little bit of research. So and yeah, linking these people together is not hard to do. So if you haven't seen Agent One on Telegram, posting a lot of fabulous information, linking the Calgary Chief of Police to the Ontario Chief of Police to the Mulrooneys to Belinda Stronach to all of these people. And I should note, I think one of these people got the Queen's Jubilee Award too. So that means you're a high level human trafficker in my books. There's no covering that up. Anyway, so we're always supposed to follow the money, and that's where money is right now. So the two battles that we're fighting, even in our own city, with this Lee family going through having their children removed from their home for reporting a rape from a Catholic pedo principal, that guy has now gotten a promotion and is working in another location, which we're going to on Friday to say hello. So, and ask some intelligent questions like, we want some investigation done, those kinds of things. But if these people are all hiding behind these judges and having their money just easily passed from one person to the other in some sort of big whatever they do at night rituals, and it all involves like the darkest things, then to me, I think we should be participating in not only obviously letting our family know that if this is where your money is, please do some research. I'm worried for your well being. Maybe this is the pill that people need to see. This is the easy pill of, like, oh, they took away all of our money. So where's that going to go? And how is that going to look? So it's almost to the pitchforks and torches time where people are going to be the ones that are not fully awake or whatever are going to be pissed that they lost their money. So I think this is how it's all has to go come out this way somehow. And I will point out again on Friday is the 11/3 on the Julian calendar. So please be patient. Like I said, everything is like, I always think about the time traveling too. So coming in and out of a speech, and then say if, they do the same speech, to affect change of one way or another. I think you get my drift. So there's always something, there's always meaning in everything. And I did mention too to my friend the other day, I said, I don't know if you happened to catch, but I kind of thought it was funny when Trump called out the press because he got Melania to read the exact same speech that Michelle read in her speech, and Melania was ripped apart in the media for it. So I thought it was really funny because these things are happening. So it's just a awareness of people like awakening right now. So, but I'm super excited about the term historically large because I think we're going to see a historically large turn of events. And I love that it's 55 and 17. So I'm going to do a quick card reading. This is my notebook of all my investigations and stuff that I'm going through and paperwork. And again, if anybody wants to help do any research, Ooh, I found a little gem. I don't know if people know about doing the research. And I'm trying to find more information. So let me get this judge's name. So I was looking up the judge in this court case for the Lee family, and his name is Stephen Steven E. Lipton. This is what came up today after me doing the same search on Brave, and blocks your IP, blah blah blah. Judge Stephen, same spelling first name, Allen Lipton, same last name, of New York, was disbarred for being a pedo effective March 28th, 2008. That's interesting. Same name, different middle name. How is that possible? And if there's one judge convicted of having child pornography and stuff, then there's other. But do you find it suspicious that it's two judges with the same name? The middle name is just different? And some of these court cases that I'm finding where people have been effed over by this judge, okay, are from 2009, 2010, 2011, and onward. I don't know if I found anything beyond 2000 when this guy was convicted. So is all that maybe it's the same person. I don't know. I'm going to try and research on what this Stephen Allen Lipton looks like in New York versus the Stephen E. Lipton in Calgary. Because I do have a picture of him. He's on one of the websites of the people he effed over with his daughter. Okay, so anything that people can find. The other thing I've been posting information of, and please do some research, is Holly found an excellent article from, I think it was CBC, saying it's actually reporting on some of the um, Indigenous that are in foster care. So, firstly, I had posted 17, it's actually 16.99% of all children in Alberta. Let me repeat that, 16.99% of all children in Alberta are in foster care. That is almost 1 out of 5 children. What the 2% in Newfoundland, not even 2%. The article that was also, out of those 17% of kids that are in foster care, 53.9% of those children are Indigenous, okay? Now here's the sickening story that I found, or Holly found. In 2021, out of the 49 children that died in foster care, 39 were Indigenous. That is 4 out of 5 children in 2021 that died in foster care were Indigenous. Okay? So that is up 16 deaths from the year before. So, as Taco pointed out, on the reservations, they were forced to take the medicine. So that's number one thing that I find interesting. And the other one is probably a lot of abuse going on there that's clearly unreported. So, as we've talked about before, Indigenous people have been attacked on a greater scale because I do believe their bloodline holds some sort of something more than, say, a person who only has, like myself, part Indigenous, whatever. I don't know. That's my theory. I'm sure we're going to find out a lot of it, but I find that just disgusting number. So basically, it's 9 children out of 100 in Alberta are in foster care. 9 children out of, yeah, all the. So that's just, it's too high. The number of kids in foster care in Alberta is sad. That's just repugnant. So, and the amount of people that are dying in care is repugnant. So these are the documented cases I want to point out as well. The documented cases. So just imagine all of the undocumented that are never heard or seen from. And those numbers are staggering in the millions. So that's pretty much what I wanted to bring up today. And I'm still working on this chart. I really want to do a good job of tying the money and the pedo cover up together, so it's not as easy as it looks, and especially when what are happening to the parents. Oh, from these, they're at the rallies, they're trying to they've been doing a lot of paperwork. They have so much documentation, it will blow your mind, like seriously, on what's been happening on the last 3 years and almost a month since their children were kidnapped at gunpoint by the Calgary police, and no investigation was done. So every time they were just served with papers last Friday, again for the second time, from the Catholic School Board saying, stop saying what you're saying. Like, why don't you do an investigation first? So, oh no, for are the kids in care? Yes, the kids are still, their kids are still in care, if that's what you're asking. So they haven't been able to see them or get any information from them as of late. So that I also find interesting. Like that combined with the fact that there's not a lot of peace officers wandering around. Like there used to be a lot, and not a lot of Calgary police. So, and the police that are showing up here, like at these rallies, they're more like the low level rent-a-cop people. Like they're not anyone that would have a brain cell to take a police investigation thing. Bless your hearts, you know, for whatever you're doing out on the street there with the traffic laws and shit. But yeah, you're not very effective when it's helping someone that needs assistance. You're more there to keep the peace, so to speak, but again, not doing anything effective, but laughing at the parents and telling them to go file a police report, like as if they don't know. Like, come on. So, yeah, I'm calling out a lot of people when it comes to this upcoming chart, and have no fear. Don't worry, I'm not worried about anything. I do believe that it's all in divine plan, and I do think military is the only way. And I think that's what we should start telling our family, especially in the United States, you know, is that maybe to stop these rigged elections, we should just say, you know, it would be nice if they could just push a button, boop, and military take over control and all those scumbags get arrested. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Just say it as a joke. I just did. And I got a, like, that would be interesting. Oh man. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna go on vacation depending on what's happening. But and then after I'm done my vacation, I might decide where I'm gonna be living. So communication came up. Protection, which we all need a lot of. Perception. See, this is what we're going through. Don't be fooled by what you think is happening in the communication. And again, with the Merlin, we all have to create this new timeline. So, timeline of justice, timeline of manifesting the greater timeline for the greater good. So, I think that the more we focus on what we actually want in our power, so with this family, reunification and justice, I am looking forward to the day. Like, I really hope one day we get to see a video of the looks on these shitbags' faces when they get arrested. Like, to be a fly on the wall and know that their gig is up. So, that's what I look forward to. I'm like, oh, you guys are going to go down in a blaze of glory. So I do believe that. I do believe that. And then a lot of these people that are in higher up powers, like even the Calgary chief of police, I think he's been replaced already. Like, I think he's just acting out a part. And he's got a button, and if he doesn't answer, it's like, boo, and he's like, that's it. So I think this is all part of waking up the masses it has to be an easy pill for them to swallow, I think. And this is all how it's being transpired. But historically large is magnificent for me. I'm really excited about everything coming up and coming through to fruition. I know a lot of people are sick out there that's got a cold, a flu, food poisoning, whatever it is. Our body is no longer housing what we thought we needed. So it's getting rid of everything that no longer serves us, and that includes bad energy, bad thoughts. So make sure you're manifesting the utmost protection, divine love, and reunification for this family and for yourselves and your family. So keep your thoughts in a very positive vibration. And the more people that think that, and I really, I do believe the more people that participate in the higher timeline and knowing that we won and we're already there, it kind of speeds up the rest of the group. I don't know. It's just like vibrating higher and getting through that fourth dimension of truth is what's holding people back. So, but I'm still doing a lot of self care. I'm been going for walks and seeing a lot of nature. I'm blown away by how much nature I get to see right here in the city. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the people who are giving me a room temporarily for till I decide what I'm doing. And yeah, so and just getting my shit together. So, but I'm sending all of you the biggest and warmest of hugs and light and love, and I'm wearing my rainbow toque because I love rainbows, not because I'm one of them woke ding dongs. So over that. Oh, that purse suits you, suits your look. I'm like, what does that mean? Maybe I look like a lesbian. I don't know. Who cares? It's so 3D. Anyways, but I love you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Keep your vibrations high, keep your thoughts high, and get lots of rest if you're sick. And take care of your meat suits. That's what we got for now. So light and love, everyone. Take care.